Solis used to be one of the most broken game-changing operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Y'all remember when you literally couldn't get a drone into the building in prep phase because Solis could deny the entire map of drones? Oh yeah, and you could never plant late round because there was always a Solis above or below you. Well, that's what Solis used to be. And then they nerfed her into the ground. They took away her impacts, they reduced her range, they increased her cooldown, they made it so you can't see what you're looking at unless you scan them, and they made the enemies' drones can see that you're getting scanned. They literally buried her in the dirt. They curb stomped Solis, and she went from being one of the most picked and banned and broken defenders into literal oblivion. So for half a year, Solis was basically irrelevant. But most recently, they decided to give Solis some slight buffs. They increased her range, and they added impact grenades back to her. And for most pros, this was like a meh change. You know, it makes her stronger a little bit, great. Brings impacts back, that's great. You can stop plants again. But for the most part, she was still a meh operator. Unless you're like Efak. I know firsthand how scary this dude is on Solis. Because in grand finals, this guy was 16 kills on Solis, clutching up every single round on my team, being an absolute rat and menace. Look at him using the Solis scanner out there, just making sure we're planning or not, clutching up, casually taking the match point against us and making me think I was about to lose my last ever event as a coach. I mean, like, I genuinely was fearing for my life. Even on the last map of the series, we were trying to hit these dudes with a fake, and the fake actually worked. So the way this strat works, we were trying to fake a plant on this side so everyone on BDS would come over and stare at this side of the map while we hit the opposite armory side, and basically got free control over the site on the other half. Problem is, the guy holding that other half of the map was like Efak on Solis. And so look, we literally get 3 bodies over this side, and it doesn't matter because where is Lucky Fact? Well, he's on Solis, literally running circles around our team. It's a 3v1 on the side of the map, and we can't do anything about it because this guy is Jesus Christ, French God himself. We can't even find him. Like, he's just running circles. Look at this guy. Anyways, regardless, nightmare, right? Absolute nightmare on this operator. And it just so happens that EU playoffs was taking place when this patch was dropped. So G2 made the major on the 13th. They played to advance to the next game on the 13th as well. And then they had a game against Falcons on the 14th. And this patch happened to drop on the 14th. So on the day that Stoppin had to go up against Shaiko and Likeyfac, Ubisoft decides to buff Likeyfac's favorite little operator. So going into the series, Falcons are playing G2 on Chalet, which is very, very surprising considering the fact that Chalet is Falcons' most banned map 10 times over the course of stage 2. So it's essentially their least favorite map, but they're going here anyways, and guess what? Lucky Fact is on Solis. Now the first site they are going is going to be basement, and G2 are doing what's called a front take. You could tell it's a front take because there's a ram going on the vert, and notice how he's going here. I want you guys to remember that. Notice how Loira immediately goes onto the back side door, but there's a thermite is over the front side of the map. So essentially the way this take works is you breach open this wall, you get vert over the site all above the site itself, and by having that vert control and lobby control, you're able to then walk down the staircase or plant behind the trash can right there using the Capital Fire. The thing is, the map is split into 2 parts. G2 are not known for doing just like a straight up frontal take by using Capital bolts and calling a day. G2 are known for their lurks and fast hits and catching you by surprise. Everyone remember that. G2 love to catch you with the element of surprise. So while all this front take action is happening on this side of the map, Loira is gearing up to hit the backside through Chench door, like we see him happening right here, to create a backstab, just so the members of Falcons can not only entirely focus on the front side, they also have to worry about the backside of the map. Typically speaking, this would work because holding down the full garage side of the map is kind of impossible with one operator. The thing is, there's one operator that could do that, and that's Solis. And so they wait for the breach to open, and basically it's getting tubed, it's getting delayed, but off the wall getting open, this is G2's go time. They have to go right now. This is when everyone has to collapse. And that's exactly what we see happen. We see G2 hit all of their 5 pressure points. This is exactly what they love doing. We see all the players hopping in on this front side. Stompins, you see him hopping in through Game's window. He's going to run down blue stairs. Doki is also hitting into the site right now as we speak, or attempting to. He manages to get in. He kills Shaiko. Stompin hops in. Alamal's looking to hop in right now. And Loira is gearing up to hit that backside of the map. But once again, traditionally speaking, if you had a roamer in the backside, they are usually fucked. They can't really hold down this entire backside by themselves unless you're Solis, because Solis can spot out exactly who's droning them, because this is such like a death trap, right? Like the moment someone cuts you off and drones you out, you're trapped. You're dead. If you are in this hallway, right, and this guy gets on this door, he cuts off your rotate back, you can no longer rotate back, and then the enemies even just get outside briefly, these walls, you are dead 100% of the time. But like effects on Solis, and Solis can see all the drones, and therefore Solis, seeing all the drones, is able to play in that backside and catch off Loira, killing him in the backstab. I wish I had a match replay to show you this happen in live action. But regardless, it shuts down the entire counter pressure aspect of the push. And now all the Falcons can focus their eyes towards that front side of the push, shutting off the counter pressure, shutting off the surprise push pull factor that G2 rely on in order to win. That makes them such good as a team. And essentially just win them out the round. It's a 1v3 on Stompin, and he actually plays this very, very well. So Case is in there. He's basically playing right now to isolate the ones in a 1v3 situation. But once again, because Likey Fack was able to shut down the backstab on this, they just all focus on the front side. Stompin managed to isolate that one. He's going to come through here. But regardless, the round is lost because Likey Fack from this range can always detect if he's planting or not. Right? Like, think about it this way. Why didn't it stop? Like, a lot of people think of it like, why didn't it stop and go back to go get the case to come back to start baiting out plants and getting these guys? Well, because Likey Fack can just get in. He's a 20-meter range now, and he can watch him plant and get off plant. And no matter what, Stompin is forced to take this 1v2 gunfight because there's no chance of him tapping the bomb to bait out responses because the Solis can always see it with the increased range. But I want everyone to remember that concept of holding down an entire half of the map by yourself. Okay, because that is exactly what he does on this operator. This operator enables him to basically play solo and hold down an entire dominion of the map by himself because he's a rat and he will cause pressure for the entire round and force responses out of you. He's just insane. So Solis, again, now they're on bar. And now they're doing something called a light office extension. Okay, so the light office extension basically means that you're playing inside on the opposite side of the map by reinforcing these walls. You're not all the way contesting up the solar, so it's a lot weaker of a hold than if you full solar roam, but you basically start a player here, you start a player in office, and the moment it gets pressured, then you fall back to traditional library spots, right? And if they don't clear you out of here, then you should have long angles through these holes you made earlier onto the library side. This essentially allows it so the enemy just doesn't take solar entirely for free and just run over you guys with a bunker strat. So G2 are setting up for a solar take. So they have a guy on big window, they have a guy on the balcony, they have a guy repelled up on solar side. All of their players are over on this master side of the map, and Falcons know this, so therefore they're playing to fall off the side of the map because they cannot possibly win with only 2 people. It gets a full clear. I want everyone to notice someone very important here. Is Likey Fack. He's going through the basement. Because typically speaking, you do want to start a guy underneath the master side, but that guy's usually a free kill if he's isolated. So Likey Fack actually takes a really sneaky approach where he starts off in sight and he makes his way underneath the master solar side. And now he can spot out Yuto for his team. Falcons end up actually falling off the roam. So they actually do end up giving it up because G2 end up breaching the master wall. They don't want to give away their lives. They want to play this library bunker. So if you see Shaiko now running back away from that area. He's having his teammate shoot at the window as the time he sprints past. So they coordinated their escape from that side of the map. But Likey Fack has snuck into West Main. Right? He snuck into West Main. And now he poses a threat of that constant threat of a flank up the solar stairs into G2's push, right? Where they're all going to basically be here and they're basically getting ready to flood across library from the master side of the map. Problem is, you have a guy getting ready to come up your solar stairs and kill absolute everyone. G2 sense that something is off underneath. They haven't cleared their flank out and now they drone Likey Fack, right? Like right about now, they've realized he's here. Now, this is crucial point in the round because now, oh shit, we're all set up on Solar. We either, one, need to now go. We now need to go because now he's going to flank us. That the more time we take, the more threat of a flank this will be, the more to win in the round. We should go while Lucky Fact is away from his team, and we should take advantage of this opportunity. On the other hand, Lucky Fact also needs to leave because in case G2 wants to come hunt him, he's fucked. He's isolated, namely by the player from front door. Because front door, if you see, cuts off the rotate back into sight that Lucky Fact could take in order to help out his team, right? By sitting out here, Alamo is cutting off this entire rotation back. And if the enemy team collapses onto Lucky Fact, well, then he's fucked because his runaway is cut off from front door, right? And then everyone just comes down Solar down the hatch and he's fucked. So he has to leave and he has to isolate a gunfight for himself to leave. So which path did G2 take? G2 decided to hit. G2 decided to start going. And they started just running at the players on the top floor. Meanwhile, Alamau is still holding this cut. Again, really crucial cut for G2 to be holding. Stomping gets ready. They start dumping util. But Lucky Fact is ready for it. He anticipates it. You know why he anticipates it? He's able to take this gunfight? Because he saw the goddamn guy on the drone. Before Lucky Fact engages, he's in dining hallway. You see that? He says he's in dining hallway. He turns on his Solis scanner a little bit. He walks up. Shaiko wins a gunfight because he's just Shaiko. He sees this guy's on the drone. Traditionally speaking, if you're on Rappel or something, or you're on this, you would never cross as a Solis. He's on fucking Solis with a 20-meter buff, so he sees this guy on drone, rightfully takes the aggressive gunfight, beats the cut, and now gets back to sight. And now he's able to get back to sight and also help his team because guess what? He can hold the angle up through the sight hatch, killing Loira Demon on the flood, and it completely shuts down G2's push. So Lucky Fact sneaks his way into dining, which doesn't seem like that significant of a map control to hold, but because he's Solis, he's able to just make his way in there. Oh, G2, you didn't get a guy here holding the flank of the rip. Create an immense pressure that forces G2's hand to flood and then kill the guy holding the cut, come back to sight, and hold that angle up through the bar hatch to completely stop the push. But I want you guys to remember this information about the front door player again, because remember, Lucky Fact is the IGL for his team. He's not only this scary monster demon that can sometimes drop 20 kills a game and carry guy, like make Shaiko look like not the best player on his team, even though Shaiko's having a monster season and he's actually back. He's the one calling the adaptations for his team. So he knows that on that bar site, his solo presence in kitchen dining was strong enough to basically derail G2's plan. He also knows that now G2 are probably going to adapt to that. G2, oh, you have a solo guy in kitchen dining. Let's just hunt this guy down, get that freebie, and then we could do the same push again without having to worry about this stupid flanker at all. And so 2 rounds pass by. Lucky Fact only gets 1 more kill than the 3 he had that round because he wasn't playing Solis on those 2 rounds. But they go back to bar site. And now he's on Solis again. And now they're doing the same kind of strategy again where they extend on this master side. So they actually run a much more aggressive extension on this master side. You see, they actually have set up over by the solar walls. It means they want to fully extend over, have control of those solar stairs. And not only that, they have a shield facing feet holes over library side, making library kind of a kill box for G2 to enter in, and you don't even get hatch control and oversight if you enter it because, well, your hatch is reinforced. So what does that tell G2? Okay, master side is a death hole, over library is a death hole, sight is obviously probably reinforced, but last time we saw Lucky Fact solo roaming and dining, and therefore we should probably go for a pick on him, right? Because that's a freebie. That's a freebie. So they're droning the basement. Like, you see this psychological pressure that's going on. G2 are droning the basement right now. They're checking for Lucky Fact's movement every single chance that they get. But Lucky Fact is nowhere to be found. He's in sight. And this is crucial. This is crucial, okay? Because I wanted to build up throughout the rest of the round and kind of give you guys an idea on it. So G2 right now are just finding a pressure point to get into sight. And eventually they drop off that top floor and they're like, okay, let's go for this kill on the player inside of dining because, you know, solar master side is held really hard. The other side is held really hard. Last time Lucky Fact was there. This is a freebie. We'll cut him off from front door again and we'll call it a day. right? Same setup again. All right, you got the player outside of dining. You have the players coming in, cutting off the player inside of the dining area, and then you can get a player through trophy, you get a player through west main, and this guy is just mostly dead because he has nowhere to go. You get one guy on the west main window, and he can't go down the stairs this way. You get one guy on the solar rappel, they can't come down the solar staircase, and then you get players hopping in, and this guy is just should be a freebie because everyone else everywhere else. And so watch what happens when G2 rotates. Watch what happens to Use's location. He goes from 2F master bedroom, he drops the hatch into kitchen, and he's kind of there waiting for that. But it's not Likey playing in kitchen, because guess where Likey is going for again? G2 get fully ready to hit this guy solo playing in kitchen. They're stunning him, they're getting ready for a free kill. Likey gets a kill on who? On the front door guy. Likey immediately again takes out and anticipates this front door guy using the Solis. He uses his teammate Uses as bait inside of kitchen, and uses, again, his Solis scanner. You see, he pops his solar scanner on the basement main stairs, runs at the guy front door. The moment they start going for the clear inside a kitchen, runs at front door, runs straight at Alamau, and murders him. And now G2, when they commit to this take, Shaiko goes down, they're a bit lost because now Usus has nothing cutting him off from coming back. And now there's a stronghold inside kitchen, actually, because Likey has lobby control. You see Solotov coming down the solar stairs. They just have a pure crossfire over on the kitchen dining side of the map. Solotov kills Loira trying to hop in through the solar window. So now G2 are forced to rotate again. Their hand is forced again. Like, our plan to hunt down that roamer inside of dining, or get dining control, has just been completely derailed by this Solis and the play call by Likey Factor. Let's bait out that hit onto kitchen, and I'll just go kill the front door guy again, and then you can just get away again. And then now we have to flip our push around into a bar hit, which, you know, is obviously suboptimal. Now, Doki does have a good blue control, which does, you know, kind of catalyze this hit into sight, but already, there's already players back here, right? And he kills Stomping in mud. He walks up through short. He walks back into sight. And he gets another one. Triple kill. 1v1 for Likey. Doesn't matter. Do you remember that clip I showed you in the beginning against Beast Ghost in Manchester? This looks awfully similar, doesn't it? It looks awfully similar because you can watch the entire site with the scanner from this doorway now that the range is buffed again to its old place. And I'm getting nightmares just thinking about this round because he's just able to clutch straight from this door once again, and he's unstoppable. 8-1, 8.0 KD on this round against G2, by the way, which last stage were the champions in the league, but on this day, Likey got a Solis buff, and he decided to go absolutely nuclear. Now, this last round, he goes Solis again. They're going the kitchen bomb site, and they're going for a very, very unorthodox setup where you actually don't hold the trophy and you make holes all across the side to kind of play like a different kind of setup. Now, it doesn't show a lot in the stream, so I'll kind of explain it here now. I'm actually on the right bomb site for once. Lil T-Dog on Zim, thank you for the sub. I appreciate loving me. Traditionally speaking, you have holes here so you can hold the window hop in, and you actually play upstairs on the solar stairs so you can hold this side of the map down. They're playing something completely different where they double reinforce this wall off. They make holes all across these walls, and they actually play, you know, opposite side from lobby side over to get long angles onto the site itself, essentially making it a kill box and you know, encouraging the enemy entry into trophy side. G2, they do go for, I believe, the right play call against this. They have the Glass and Sense to go for a really fast site hit because, once again, because they're playing on the library side, they're playing on the opposite of the map. Solar side or trophy side are free, right? They're drone that's like, oh my god, it's all free. We could just take it right now. And like I said, G2 like to catch you off guard. The issue is you can't really catch a Solis off guard. So Likey pops his scanner real quick, and he can already tell that the drones, the util, everyone is over here on that side. He just tells his teammates, yo, they're doing a site hit. He finds that the site hit. Everyone's now holding a crossfire, and G2 is fully ready for this. I mean, sorry, Falcons is fully ready for the site hit. They are fully ready. Like, none of them are panicking. None of them are running back to take a gap or anything. Despite the fact that Blast is lurking to the base, but they're hitting all these end gaps. On the Solis, all of these drones are spotted out. All of the util are spotted out. All of the positions are spotted out. But pops it again. sees where the util is coming from, sees where the players are, sees there's a player outside West Main, kills him. I'll write him back just so, because like the broadcast, because I wish I had fucking match replays, but we don't. Ubisoft Esports, come on, let's release the match replays. Blaz does get a lurk up West Main stairs. Problem is, Blaz is getting droned. Lucky Fact pops his solar scanner real quick down here. Spots out. Guess what? That drone that's in front. That drone that's in front of Blaz. Oh, what do we think? There's probably a guy coming up West Main stairs, and Doki's outside West Main joining him in. Okay, let me hop off this and just murk this guy real quick. Bing, bang, boom. LeBlaz James down. The entire push is derailed. Right, and I have a solo Glaz fighting against, and Lucky Fact is just still able to sit here. Now, he eventually ends up dying because of a well-placed nade and crossfire from G2 on the drone hole on this player. But the damage is already done. Like, the push, it's a rush, and it got telegraphed. And now all of Falcons know exactly what all of G2 is doing. But, yeah, I mean, they just have a perfect crossfire over the site. G2 being the clutch players they are, they actually do manage to bring it fully back to a 2v2, which is very, very impressive for them. Yeah, Loira goes up the vert and manages to get the pick through. I don't know if Loira gets a pick through the vert. Yeah, Loira gets a pick through the vert, I believe. Oh, no. Yeah, he gets picked through the vert, making a move, a stomping and all. But 30 seconds left. Hatch is closed. They both have to eventually go back down. He's been able to play offsite on a solo position, completely being a rat and baking pressure for the entire round. He's able to create strategies around the fact and use it to kill the crucial cuts to make a stronghold. He's able to play onsite and detect rushes. This guy on Solis, actually the final boss. And they end up getting a 5-1 half on Chalet. And you know that's crazy because they actually end up winning the map 7-5, which means they had a 5-1 half and they had a 4-2 attacking half, which means that this guy on the Solis picked 4 out of 6 rounds, 8-1 in like 5 rounds, and then another kill 9-2 or whatever, just absolutely dogging on these guys with Solis. That guy is like literally unbeatable. Either way, going into map 2, first 3 rounds, Solis was not played, but in this 4th round, Falcons are doing a really heavy roam, hence why you see G2 getting this site hit right here. So let's go back in the prep phase a little bit just to see the setup they're going for. So because there's so much vertical control over the site, Falcons are essentially going to hold fully above the site. They have so many players, 1, 2, 3, 4 players above site, and only breed a solo in site because everyone wants to hold above the site. There's literally, if you see the players' locations, you see only Brede is inside B Toxin. Everyone is 2F, 1F, 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 and that is the location of the players. So for that reason, G2 see this on their prep drones, and then they want to hit site with the blitz. So they're going to do exactly that. Alamal runs over here to stock. They're going, okay, let's just hit site because there's only one guy in site. We'll call it a day. Bing, bang, boom, and just gets heard out by Brede. Pops Goyo does a really good job, but G2 have the strategical advantage. Right now, Falcons are really panicking to get back to site, and so they run into site. But all of Falcons has already returned. They actually managed to kill the guy with they managed to kill the shield and shot. G2 managed to take into sight. Falcons actually managed to rotate back in time to get the case. And now at this point in the round, if you're Falcons, you just realize, oh shit, we have no vert control. They've taken the site from right out of our hands. Right now, we should be panicking, right? Like usually what happens to your rank stack when this happens to you guys all just start running, which is exactly what G2 is banking on. They bank on you just panicking and running back because they're anticipating the response out of Falcons. The issue is Falcons don't need to do all that because they've left one person actually above. That person is Lucky Fact. Lucky Fact is on Solis. Lucky Fact now has 20-meter range on the Solis scanner and can see everything in the site. And also, you'll heard probably, he used his impact grenades to create vert above the site to create pressure down, which is where I'm at, and that is sees over all of where G2 have currently just flooded into. So he has vert from reception all over the site. He can see every single plant that could possibly go down. You see, as they're rushing in, he actually uses both his impacts to create that vert pressure above G2. So now G2 kind of are on the seat once again to respond because he's on Solis. And so one player on Falcons does end up giving his life away and like kind of over panicking, over swinging. But otherwise, it's all in their hands. So Lucky Fact with the Solis, and he drops down into Toxin, actually using his pressure on the vert to kind of win back the gunfights. Gets a double kill, dropping down the hatch, using all the info he's gathered off that Solis, and just completely stuffing that push. Falcons complete control of that round in the mid round, despite the fact that G2 had full site control because Solis was above with a 20-meter range in the perfect spot against a site hit. Lures in a 1v4, but it doesn't really matter, and they win the round. And then Falcons end up winning 2-0 over G2, going to grand finals, and then winning 2-1 against Secret to win first place in Europe, retaking their crowns over the region. Now, obviously, I didn't show any more rounds from the other series because they didn't end up actually playing Solis that much on the other maps. But I think that's mostly just due to the fact that it was literally changed on the day of. They're not going to change all of their strats for Solis on the day, but I think it's already crazy enough how much it was spammed after it was used. I think other pro players had a good reaction. I think releasing a patch in the middle of playoffs is a really good idea. You should do it more often. Look at all the Solis being played all of a sudden. If you know it, Deziku, the caster from EU, said with tracking it throughout the playoffs ever since the buff happened, and tracked it 8 out of 12 rounds in Chalet, all but one defensive round on Border by Secret, which was the last map that Falcons played against Secret, and then they ended up taking the championship in EU. You can see just how happy they are to be back on top. Congrats to them. But the point is, already on the day that the patch came out, Solis's pick rate skyrocketed throughout the course of EU playoffs. It no doubt decided the fate of EU playoffs and the mode that EU playoffs were in. If you look at the bans that took place throughout all of these matches, no team actually ended up banning Solis, even though she was insanely broken. I mean, just look at this clip back from the original series I broke down. Look at how much info Fett is getting this round just from the Solis, seeing all the drones come through, seeing the info and the drones and the player outside. He's able to just deduce all these player positions essentially by just turning on a scanner and walking 5 feet in one direction or the other just by using Solis. So Solis is absolutely back with these changes now, including the fact that you have impacts now. You can play fully for plant denial below and whatnot using the operator. So no doubt in my mind, Solis is completely back. You buffed it. I think it's no coincidence that they buffed it, and on that day forward in playoffs, in the middle of playoffs, the player whose favorite operator is Solis tore through the rest of the playoffs 2-0, 2-1 to retake his crown in Europe against two very, very strong opponents. So yeah, it might not be as stark of an example because it ended up not being played on other maps because the strats on the other maps were probably hard set in stone with the operators, but the maps that they could bring him out, I think, was very, very clear just from the sheer presence that Team Secret had with the Solis and Falcons as well. I think it's clear to say that the operator is fully back. Oh yeah, Team Secret was also down. They were also down on attack. They were down going into defense. Then they spammed Solis every single round except for that literal one round on their defense and brought it back to 6-6 on Border, which is the most attackers on a map in the game. I mean, yeah, come on. Oh, I wish I did some Secret examples now. Are there any good Secret examples? Yeah, look at this look at these last two regulation defensive rounds on Border. So there's Ven sites, right? Ven has vert over all the entire both the sites. This is a ye old Solis strat. A lot of teams don't really run this anymore because Solis got nerfed, but now Solis plays here can basically see every single plant on the site. So Secret have 3 players above because they want to hold vert over the site, and they have 1 player in sight. Falcons know this, so they want to go for a site hit. So they're gonna sense, they're gonna grim sight, and they're just gonna go straight through for a really fast side hit. Are you gonna do it? 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 And the site pressure comes through, and usually teams will panic and come down and flow back to site when this is coming through. But there's no need to panic because guess what? You have a Solis above, basically just calling whether or not the plant is happening or not. So Falcons actually managed to get in. They managed to kill the site player, and it's a 4v and a 5v3. You think the round is won at this point, but even at this point, 4v2, the round is not fully won for Falcons because this dude can just see the bomb plant in sight, and Mowgli just can run around and do whatever the fuck you want, and Bride can't get the bomb down because guess what? You haven't dealt with the Solis. Yeah, they haven't. You heard the casters. They haven't dealt with the Solis. It forces a player to push an arm right now, despite the fact Secret still loses this round. Unfortunately for them, it could have also easily been a 1 round, but just the fact that it was 1 operator's above, it changes the pace entirely of the round. Usually you can plant in a smoke, you can plant in whatever the fuck you want because Warden is off the board. You can plant in a smoke usually, but not when there's a Solis up on the board, right? This round as well, because they realized, oh, it's Vents again. We can't just go for a site hit again. We have to deal with the Solis above on that half wall, because otherwise Solis will be able to stop the plant and do whatever the fuck she wants. And look at the Solis, just able to call out exactly what push, spot the guy behind the bus on the drone, get that info, knows there's a guy there, knows exactly what kind of push they're going for, gets on the rappel. Oh, what are they doing for? There's a guy on armor. They're gonna flood top floor. It's just obvious. He's the Yin Candela. Through on the Solis scanner, able to dodge the flashbang on it. So now the Solis is not blinded anymore because you dodged it with the Solis, and now the Yin repels in, and this top floor flood gets completely stuffed. And from being down 2-4, going into the defensive half on one of the most attackers on the maps ever, border has now been taken over defensively because of the Solis, because they're able to just read and gain so much info on every single push. So yeah, this operator is absolutely back. Play her in ranked if you want, just free info, free pushes. I really love that now. I really think the only change Solis needed was that prep phase thing, because I think that was just the most broken part about Solis. Just the fact that she could like basically remove an aspect of the game, remove prep phase droning just by existing. I think after that, like, they didn't need to like perma nerf her, like mega nerf her like the way they did, but I think like letting your opponent see when you're getting Solis spotted as your drone is actually very good. It lets you know that you're not walking into just like a known play. And I think she's in a really good spot. She's a really high skill operator. Player in ranked if you want to get better. Player in ranked if you want to make a real big impact on your team, because I think Solis is coming back to the meta. I think she should be one of the most broken operators absolutely ever right now. Yeah, you can already see it's already taking effect into EU. So I mean, just yeah, fucking run that, John. Anyways, I'm really fucking tired. I'm sorry this is a tired video. I had to do my podcast early in the day, but I love you guys. Take it easy and goodbye.